Hello, fellow Novians. My name is Rob, and no intro on this one, just so we can keep it nice and short. We're talking about the upcoming organization changes that NQ has shared with us today. I mean, right on the heels of the update we did yesterday, we get another announcement about the organization changes for rebalancing. So if you haven't checked these out, I will put a link in the description as always, but let's talk about this. They're making changes to the way the organizations work. So currently, if you didn't know, organizations can basically create an infinite number of sub-organizations, all with, the same super legate on top of at least four. So you can be in four organizations, then you can have another legate who's in four organizations, and then you can have another legate who's in four organizations. And depending on how large your organization is, you can pretty much imagine how many sub-organizations you can have. Now, why do people have sub-organizations? Well, if you're not aware, you can have more cores. So each sub-org can have a certain number of cores depending on your organization skills. For the super legate, you can also claim tiles a lot cheaper because, as you know, tiles, when you're claiming them, double every time you put down a territory claim unit. Organizations work a little bit differently. Like the first one is like 250,000, and then the second one's free, and then the third one's 250,000, and then the third one is anyway. It gets to the point where if you've put down enough pins, as I call them, territory claim units, once you have enough pins in the ground, it's going to get to a point where it's so cost ineffective that you can't put any more. Well, that was their artificial limitation, but the way around that is create a sub-organization, and then it basically resets your counter, and you can start going until you hit that ceiling limit again, where it's like, too much money. I don't know what too much money is for some people. I would say that when it hits like 20 million, I'm not putting any more pins down. So yeah, and then you add another sub-organization. There you go. You reset that counter, and you put more pins down, and so on and so forth, until the cows come home. Now, as they said, this poses a problem for both design and cost perspective, as it removes any form of scaling limit to the amount of construct and organizations that can be in the game. It also leaves the door open for ways to circumvent limitations that need balancing. So what does that mean? Well, this is just speculation and is not anything other than my opinion. So take it as take a grain of salt in there and stuff. I have a feeling it's to preempt the new mining changes. Because the way that's going to work is you need to own the tile in order to put the mining units on the tile. So I think what they're trying to do is stop the all-out land grab that's going to happen when the new mining system comes online, because people are going to run around, start scanning tiles, start pinning everything, hoping that, oh man, this has a ton of this ore on it. This has a really high yield. I'm going to pin this. I'm going to put this here. And then you can just go, here's another one, pin it. 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 So these organizations that have multiple layers to them can just basically go on a pinning spree, and then by the time normal players or small organizations get around to it, it's like, well, now half the planet is claimed. And you may say that's just how life works. Well, it is. It's also necessary to, keep people interested in your game in order for longevity. So, going on, new regulations will be as follows. Each organization must have a player as its super legate. An account can only be super legate of one organization, and nested organizations will still be possible, but require a player as a super legate of that organization. And that player cannot also be the super legate of the parent organization. So what that means is that you can be in four organizations still, but only one of them you can be super legate in. So you can't own all four organizations that you're in anymore. So you know, there's still the whole the whole corporate espionage factor still at play here, and stuff like that. People get in your org. You could still be a legate of multiple orgs. You just can only be the super legate of one org. So if you have an org that is like a holding corp where you put all your cores and everything else, and you're super legate of that, well, that's the only one you're going to be super legate of. You're not going to be able to make a third corp and then also be super legate of that and then have a fourth corp. The org that is so if you already have if you already have 4 organizations, one of them is going to be chosen as your super legate org, right? The other 3 are either going to have new super legates or are going to get disbanded. So if you trust somebody enough to give them one of your 4 orgs that you've created and make them super legate, then by all means. But if not, you might want to start thinking about consolidating and sending your territories to one of your other organizations, repinning them or whatnot. Or just, pulling the pins and hoping for the best. So you have about a month. This isn't going to be changed until update 0.26, which could be a month. It could be 2 months. It could be 3 months. We don't know. But you have at least, I would say, a month to start making changes to this. So if you don't make any changes and you just sit on your hands, or you're a player that's not playing the game right now and you just can't be bothered to come back in and check this out, there will be an automated thing that happens. So for players that are super legates of organization, one organization will be selected as that player's primary organization, depending on the number of players, the number of constructs, and the age of that organization. So that's what will happen if you don't select anything. You'll automatically be placed as a super legate in whichever organization fits those qualifications the best. The player will become a designated legate for any other organizations to which they belong. To address the situation where an organization is nested within another so that there is no player designated as super legate, these are the solutions. The legate with the most seniority, who is not already a super legate of another organization and has connected over the past month of time of the change, is promoted to super legate. If no legate exists, the oldest member that is not already a super legate of an organization and has played within the past month of time of change is promoted to super legate. So, yeah, if you haven't logged in the past month, you're not going to get automatically put as super legate. The oldest legate that is not already super legate of an organization is promoted to super legate. And number 4, the oldest member that is not already a super legate of the organization is promoted to super legate. So what that means is if you have an organization that doesn't have a super legate, it's going to either pick the legate with the most seniority, the oldest member of the organization is just going to automatically be promoted to super legate. If none of the above apply, so let's say that you're the only member of that organization, the organization will be disbanded. Constructs and territories for any constructs and territories for any properly structured organizations or organizations that are assigned a new legate will be unaffected and remain in ownership of that organization. The construct and territories of disbanded orgs will be reassigned to the first former super legate in the chain of organization parenting. So what that means is if your organization is disbanded because you were the only member of that organization, then all of those constructs and territories will be assigned to you personally. Any other constructs will be abandoned and territories will be claimed. So make sure basically what all this says right here in short is you got till 0.26 to figure out your organizational structures. Don't let the game automatically do it, because it's going to probably do something you don't want it to. So yeah, take the time, figure out your new organizational structure, get rid of some crap you don't need. You got at least a month. Start taking some crap apart and killing off any constructs you don't use. If you got that space station that you built over Telami 6 months ago that nobody's ever been to, take it apart. I don't know, man. But these are the changes that are happening so that they can implement some other things in the future and not have to worry about the infinitude of people like land grabbing everything in sight. So that's the video today. I just wanted to put this information out there in case you haven't read them or you can't read the notes because of you have some kind of medical issue or dyslexia or something like that, right? So now you got the information. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the description. I'll try my best to answer them or to try to get answers from the devs that I do have contact with. Otherwise, if you like the video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button to be notified of, the usual stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you out there in space. Stay safe, my friends.